What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pat's Chat, proud member of the CLNS Media Network. This show is brought to you by Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Michael, we are not live right now because Twitter's down, so we can say whatever the hell we want.
It's like the night ghost tour. You can say whatever the hell you want.
It's true. I know.
It's good though. It felt weird not podcasting over a weekend and a Monday. So I think we both felt the itch yesterday. We're like, should we do a podcast?
Yeah, and
Should we do a
we
football
can talk
podcast?
about anything. We could talk about last
Whatever the
week, this
hell we
week.
want.
Let's start off with Milton Williams going on
Yeah.
injured reserve because that's some big news.
Mm-hmm.
He qualifies as big news, not emergency podcast news, but still,
No.
this is one of your best players overall, first or second best defensive player, and the Patriots are going to miss him for two really important games down the stretch against the Bills and Ravens. And I think that I don't know like what the war on a defensive tackle is, but I think that it limits your ability to possibly steal one of those games.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it has been kind of understated, the reaction where it's like, oh, well, you are deep at that position. That's
Yeah.
true. If you were going to suffer an injury at any position, you'd probably pick D tackle because of how the depth that you have there that you probably didn't know you had. Like Kyrus Tonga being a reliable piece
Mm-hmm.
was not something we had expected in the summer, but he's, like you said, either their best or second best defensive player. So to remove that from the equation, like it's not insignificant. And then, I mean, you think about a week like this where you're facing Joe Flacco, uh, the definition of a stationary pocket quarterback. If you have someone who can just disrupt the pocket every snap,
Right.
seemingly, it's going to make Sunday's game a little bit harder. Because for as much as we're going to talk about the Bengals and how much they suck, Flacco's been all right.
Yeah.
So if you could have, we said last week they were susceptible to the mobile quarterback, perhaps. And I said, when the genesis of your pressure is up the middle, it's not really, there's no sweat for a mobile quarterback, but for a non-mobile quarterback, so even not just those games, like I think they'll beat the Bengals,
Mm-hmm.
but this game becomes a little bit harder for the whole defense.
It does. And yeah, so the depth you were talking about, they've got Christian Barmore, obviously,
Right.
Kyrus Tonga, Corey Durden, Joshua Farmer, Eric Gregory. I will say that the run defense struggled more than I thought it would last week when Milton Williams was out of the game. Like he's not the
Mm,
biggest defensive tackle. He's probably only like 280, 300, something like that, 6'2,
oh,
6'3. But I think he's just so stout in the middle. He's like a mobile fire hydrant in the middle of your defense.
tough to move.
And that allows you to he can get upfield, he can disrupt things, and then once there's disruption, then everyone kind of swarms the ball. Without that undersized disruptor up there, it just everything looked a little bit off.
Yeah.
And even Kyrus Tonga, for as big and strong and as good as he's been this season, he was on the ground twice in that game, which you just don't want to be as a nose tackle. He was getting pushed out a little bit. Could be that some of those fullback snaps were, weighing on him, and maybe the
Yeah.
short week isn't great for a fullback for a nose tackle. So maybe he gets back up to speed this week. But I also think you don't want to give him too many snaps. You don't want to just say like, all right, Milton Williams is out. Kyrus Tonga go to nose tackle, Christian Barmore will go to three tack, and then we do the same rotation behind them. You might want to take either Corey Durden or Joshua Farmer, make them play the Milton Williams role, and then still keep Kyrus Tonga's role the same so that you're not
Yeah.
overworking him. So the depth is solid there, but I did see some cracks in the armor last week with Milton Williams already out.
Interesting. And yeah, and I think last week, leading in, you saw a lot of tweets and posts like people wanting to bet on the Kyrus Tonga touchdown prop bet.
Right.
I'd say maybe for the time being, for as long as Milton Williams is out, the Kyrus Tonga offense situation has to stop
Right.
because as fun as it is, like you said, there's a certain amount of squeezing every last bit of juice out of Kyrus Tonga that
Right.
maybe you need to have him hone in. I have a question. You rewatched that game, and
Shoot.
I watched it and rewatched it as well, but I didn't maybe have the same film study eyes that you did.
Mm.
Why'd they let him back in the game? Because
I know.
post game Vrabel was asked about it. I think Bedard asked him, and
Yeah.
Vrabel basically cut him off and was like, "I'd just say I decided it was probably best not to play," or something like that. So it
Yeah,
makes
he made it sound like in
cautionary,
a different situation he would have kept playing
right?
and that it was a cautionary move to take him out.
And then he goes on IR a couple
Right.
days later.
Yeah.
So that seems like someone screwed up.
Well, I think
I'm not
obviously
a
it was also
doctor.
Milton Williams probably pushing to play as hard as he could.
Well, every football player, I believe, most of the time is like,
Well,
I can play.
I don't is there the same test on the field as like a torn ACL that you can do on a high ankle sprain? I would
No,
guess
but
not.
they did the blue tent. He went
Right.
to the locker room.
Yeah.
That was a really long Patriots drive. Remember, there was only 2
Yeah.
drives, not
Yeah.
even 2 full drives, took up the whole first quarter. So he didn't really miss. He missed like 8 snaps on the first drive. The Patriots have a really long drive. He goes to the locker room, he comes back and he plays, and then he comes out and then doesn't return again. It's just, it feels as though, I don't know. Yeah, it's not as simple as a torn
Yeah.
knee,
Right.
but high ankle sprains aren't exactly uncommon in the NFL. So
No, it's true.
you would have thought someone. So I don't know if he did any further damage. And you did see him after the game, like in the high five line with his flip flops on.
Or
Like,
would you say the damage is done, my friend?
oh, it's damage is done week, my friend. Damage is done, my friend week. I hate that guy. But you saw him when Vrabel was doing the high fives. Williams was right behind him in his flip flops. So it's not like he was, in a
Right.
gurney,
No.
stressed out about it. So maybe even the IR placement is more not
Right.
precautionary, because you don't do that, but
Yeah.
more just sort of putting it in a box and saying, you got to wait.
Right.
And they're
We
going to
need
be
you
all
for
right.
the run, for the playoff run. Yeah.
It does feel that way, unless I'm being naive.
No, yeah, yeah, it does feel that way. The fact that he was able to come back in at all obviously shows that he thought he could play on it. Someone thought he could play on it. It's pretty amazing that because like obviously the expectations have grown significantly since the preseason. But the Patriots have already exceeded their offseason over under win total. It was
Yeah.
8.5, and they have won 9 games.
That's crazy.
So to some degree, these final, 6 weeks of the season, you're like kind of playing with house money a little bit.
Kind of.
And
Yeah.
and you can't look at it that way, but you're almost certainly going to beat the Bengals. You're almost certainly going to beat the Giants.
Yeah.
And things get tougher. But like if you're going into those Bills and Ravens games at what, 11-2?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it, would you like to win those games? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you
I
want to
guess-
risk the health of your best or second best defensive player to do so? Probably not.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely on the latter part.
Yeah.
It's just, I've hated this for however many years it's been the case. How many years? Maybe 5 years now. The one buy thing is crazy. The singular
Yeah.
buy, because it really affects the balance. And I don't think it's the case this year, because it's actually like the Denver and New England have pretty easy schedules. So it's being benefited by that. But you could, like back when the Patriots were, among the best teams in the league every year, they were usually had a really hard schedule, and then someone else could have a much easier schedule and get the one bye instead of the 2 bye. I think it's
Yeah.
crazy. So, but I do think if you are looking for a run, like that bye, I don't know that
it's huge.
the value of it. And so you do kind of have to go for it, but
Yeah.
also part of that is out of your control.
100%. Patriots did make some interesting moves otherwise this week, not worth diving into as far, but signed Braden Swinson to the 53-man roster when they placed Milton Williams on IR, and then signed CJ Dupree to the 53-man roster, releasing John Saunders Jr. Curious to see what they do with Swinson, if he just continues to be inactive or if they actually use him. Because there is a part of me with the fact that Harold Landry hasn't been as productive recently that like maybe you start splitting those backup edge snaps between Swinson and Elijah Ponder to see if like you can create some juice there at outside linebacker, because Anthony Jennings is just not really delivering any pressure. Fell on his face at least once.
Watching him
last
chase
week.
Justin Fields was tough. It's like that's a mismatch.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as I've mentioned before, there was a period of time earlier in the season when he was a healthy scratch, before Keon White was a healthy scratch, and they traded away Keon White. Clearly, they don't think that Anthony Jennings is the best fit for this defense. And clearly, they must not think that highly of Braden Swinson either, since he was on the practice squad for most of the season and was never even elevated. but he was one of the most productive pass rushers in college football last season.
Eight and a
And
half
he just,
sacks.
what was it?
8.5 sacks.
Yeah, he had 60 pressures. Um, and I think that he can provide more athleticism off the edge than you have outside of, let's say, Caleb on Chase on right now.
Yeah, it's interesting the way you framed it, where I wonder if how many snaps a game is Harold Landry getting, we think? Like most of them, right?
40 to 50, I think, right now, probably, right?
Okay. So maybe you subtract 12 of those and 8 go to Ponder and 4 go to Swinson, and you just hope you get some juiced up
Right.
young energy to just sort of throw people off. I mean, it worked against Tampa. I don't think Tristan Wirfs lined up and was like, oh no, Elijah Ponder's across from me. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
he's by him. So I
Right.
do think there's an element of having to scrap together. And again, this goes back to the inactive trade deadline where maybe you would have gotten an NFL caliber player or an experienced or established player, but
Mhm.
instead you've got to try to piece it together with a couple of rookies. But I don't know. It'll be interesting because you got me up on Swinson in the spring. I was like, Swinson's going to be good. Not so much so far. Haven't seen
Not
it
much
yet.
so far.
Haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet, but yeah, I do like the idea of just young, fresh legs, especially at this time of year, on a year where you're in getting into late November and you haven't had a bye yet.
Yeah.
I think that could be pretty valuable. Sorry, it's cold in my basement and my jaw kind of freezes, so I have to enunciate.
Number 43, by the way, pretty rough number for Braden Swinson.
Ooh, that's like a special. That's like Brendan Schooler should be 43.
Yeah.
Was he
That's
40?
that's
He
Nate
might have been.
Ebner. Nate Ebner was
Ebner,
43.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Do you got any other 43s in Patriots history?
43s in Patriots history.
I can do it, but it's going to take me a minute.
Not off the top of my noggin. Yeah.
Uniform numbers, and we're going to go to 43. Okay.
Yep.
We're probably missing someone. All right, not many. So Calvin Munson rocked it.
Man.
Rashad Berry in 2020. Don't recall his
Okay.
input.
Here's
Ebner
Dylan.
for sure. Ebner wore it
Yep.
for like a decade. So shout
Yep.
out to him. Vernon Lewis. So from 96 to 2012, 43 was dormant. That tells you all you need to know about the number 43.
Yeah. What? There's like 11 players on this list, 12 players, something like that.
Yeah, and the best one is Nate Ebner, followed by Vigus Ferguson in the early 80s.
I mean, yeah, number 43 is not a popular number in the NFL, I would say.
Duffy Combs. Not Duffy Cobbs. Sorry, I saw Puffy Combs, and I'm like, uh-oh, but it's Duffy Cobbs.
Was Darren Sproles 43?
I believe so, yeah. That's a good one.
Is he like the best in wait,
This is important.
was Paul Mullo 43?
Who? Oh, no, I think he was 41.
No, he's 43.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, well then I guess Polamalu gets. I have a scorching hot. All right, Polamalu is according to Google. I have a scorching hot Polamalu take.
Oh wow.
It's been scorching for decades.
All right.
He's a Hall of Famer, you know?
Yeah.
I think he's the most overrated guesser I've ever seen in my life. Like you watch all of his highlights and it just he guessed and he flew it like he had total freedom to just sprint toward the line of scrimmage and break up plays. It was awesome. It was spectacular. But what happened when he played the Patriots? They would be like, hot, and he would jump over the line. And it was like, well, that wasn't very hard, was it? So I don't know. Maybe it's because I watched the Patriots basically negate his impact so many times. But it was like,
fair. Ed Reed was better than him.
100 times better than him. He was not a guesser. He was like a cerebral, but also athletic freak. I think Polamalu was just like a really fun, springy, hop over the line. I've always felt he was overrated.
It's a fair take. It's a strong take,
people. I know that was what everyone needed on November.
Since we're not live, we could also just edit that out if you won't decide to.
I do regret it. I am afraid of my welfare.
I don't think many Steelers fans are listening to this right now. So the Bengals, according to my buddy Aaron Schatz, who does DVOA, defensive value over
average.
Defensive adjusted value over average.
Yeah.
The Bengals have the worst defense of all time. They're the lowest in DVOA since it's been tracked.
Isn't that like, I saw that tweet. Isn't that hard to believe?
Yeah, it's wild, but
though they lost to the Jets. which
Yeah,
is a good indicate. Like, didn't Justin Fields have a big passing day against them?
he might have. Yeah, so that probably hurts you quite a bit.
Justin Fields against the Bengals, because we just saw him 21 to 32 for 244 and a touchdown.
Yeah, that
And
can't. You can't do that. Yeah,
that's not crazy though. I thought it was worse than that.
it's crazy for Justin Fields.
They gave up 48 to the Vikings. They gave up 47 to the Bears.
244 yards to Justin Fields is 488 yards to a normal quarterback.
True. What did he have against the Patriots?
Like 115.
111. Yeah. So they gave up 48 to the Vikings, 47 to the Bears, 39 to the Jets, 37 to the Lions, 34 to the Steelers, 31 to the Steelers, 28 to the Broncos, 27 to the Jaguars, 27 to the Packers, and then 16 to the Browns. So Dylan Gabriel.
48 to the Vikings when they had Carson Wentz at quarterback also.
Yeah, that's not good. And I would like to I just said Dylan Gabriel, but this was early in the season. It was actually Joe Flacco. Who only scored 16 against them, and they were like, you know what, we like that guy. Let's bring him in.
He was nice to us.
Yeah, he was gentle.
Yeah. And so yeah, they're not gonna have Joe Burrow because he's still dealing with the injury. They're not gonna have Trey Hendrickson. They're not gonna have Cam Taylor-Britt. And they're probably not gonna have Jamar Chase either because he spit on a guy, which you put it well on Twitter. I want to talk about this. The amount of the amount of avoidable mistakes that you can make in the NFL, spitting on a guy ranks probably top amongst them. Like knowing after what happened to Jalen Carter that if you spit on someone, you're going to get suspended.
Yeah. And knowing that there are roughly 7,000 HD cameras everywhere in an NFL stadium.
So if someone says, hey, this guy spit on me, there's going to be a camera that shows it.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're in a pile at the bottom, then you can pull it off. Like Bill Romanowski.
Yeah. So really dumb.
It is the most embarrassing reason to miss a National Football League game. Like imagine, and these superstars live in a different world in their own head, so I don't think they feel shame. But imagine Doug Kyed is a great NFL player, and he has to tell his family, like, oh, I can't play this week. And they're like, why? It's like, this guy was bugging me, and I spit on him. And
I couldn't use my words, so I spit on him.
Yeah, like it's dumber than punching a helmet, I think. Well, maybe not because you use your hands for your job. But
you know what? A helmet, you don't always get suspended, though, too.
Right, but you could. I mean, you're not really going to injure someone except yourself. But
no, 100%.
I also found the most offensive part of this is that Chase is basically sacrificing $500,000.
I was going to say the money aspect too.
So it's like whatever, $30,000 game check, and then another 100 in like his per game bonus being active. You know, there's a lot of people in this country, Doug, struggling to put food on the table. It's a big topic around the country. And it's like, I just pissed away $500,000 because I wanted to spit on some guy who was bugging me.
Right. Yeah.
Man, that's some dumb stuff. So
pretty nuts.
But it's pretty on par for the Bengals, I would say. And the tweet I didn't get to really formulate in my head because the brain doesn't work like it used to is it would have been great if the Patriots had sent some advanced scouts to that Bengals game and also had the Do Your Job crew filming it and had footage of the spit and submitted it to the league.
Sir, we see that we have the spit on camera.
And then I could have, they could have sent it in an envelope that just said the damage is done, my friend, and Jamar Chase is suspended. That would have been the real kicker. But as you can tell, like you can't fit that in a tweet. That was just for the podcast, exclusive.
Well, thank you for saying that for the podcast. That was very enjoyable.
Can I just real quick catch anyone up who doesn't know what
I know? We referenced it earlier. We should have probably said this at the time, but yes, go ahead.
So obviously this was 2019, I believe. 2019. Patriots were doing a video feature. They had a guy filming their advanced scout in the press box. He filmed most of the game. We saw the footage. It was literally just a football field. And he got caught. He got busted by the Bengals staff. And a man basically, what do you call it? Like a citizen's arrest? He detained. He detained the Patriots. I think he was a lower level, just camera operator for the thing. I don't think he was a head honcho. And his camera was on, and he's like, I can just delete it. If it was a problem, I didn't know. And this guy who works for the Bengals PR staff or something just says, the damage is done, my friend. And I've for years now, like whatever the incident was, what it was, I always hope that man has diarrhea because he deserves it on game day in public. That's how I feel about that guy.
I think that's fair.
Thank you.
There's usually not a lot of stalls in bathrooms and press boxes, so it's
Yeah,
not a great place to have it either.
you don't want to have a rumbly tumbly in the Patriots press box. There's one poop toilet.
There's one stall per floor. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't you don't want that to happen. You got to
No.
prepare. You got to strategize your whole weekend.
Yeah.
And I hope that this man struggles with that on a weekly basis because he deserves it. Because he thought he uncovered Watergate, and in fact, it was just literally a man filming the football game in totality. That was
Yeah.
crazy.
So that was, like you mentioned, so that was 2019.
The weirdest part about that was
Patriots beat the Bengals 34-13. So
yeah, the weirdest part was the midweek press conference. A reporter in Cincinnati asked Zach Taylor, like, "Hey, what? There's a report out there that the Patriots were caught filming bubble," and there was no report. Like, it was a plant. It was a planted question. It was, and Zach Taylor was like, "Oh yeah, and it was like, what is this organization doing?" So, bad for them. Bad for
wow,
them.
Zach Taylor's really been there since 2019.
Yeah, man. You get Zach Taylor, you hold on to him for as long as you can.
The Bengals are, I've mentioned this before, but it's apropos because they're playing them this week.
Mhm.
The Bengals are definitely the weirdest run NFL franchise in the NFL or in the league. Like probably top 5 amongst major sports.
They have
They run it like it's like the diner down the street.
they have to cross the street in the city to go to practice.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
to like wait at, I think they've changed it because they got mocked online so bad, but they have to hit the crosswalk button and wait. Joe Burrow, a franchise quarterback in the NFL, has to cross the way I went to high school practice with his helmet in hand, hit the button and wait for the
Yeah.
birds to start chirping so you can cross the street. Insane.
For years and years and years, they were a team that had like 2 scouts in the building. I don't know what they're at this point because they actually have 3 assistant general managers below Duke Tobin, who's their director of player personnel. But for a long time, Paul Brown and Mike Brown was their GM, like their owner.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's the same way as the Cowboys, which are another really weirdly run franchise. But at least the Cowboys are willing to pour like billions of dollars into their organization.
Right.
The Bengals aren't really like that.
No.
They're more of the cutting corners type of franchise. And quite frankly, given the way it's run, it's kind of amazing that they've been as good as they have been over the years. But
It tells
just
you
a really strange franchise.
it tells you the power of a quarterback, right? Like
Yeah.
you get the quarterback, you can be in the Super Bowl. I'm trying to get the
Right.
video of the damage is done, my friend. So I'm gonna get it.
Um,
Not right this second, but I will get it.
but yeah, just a really, really strange franchise that hasn't really kept up with the times the same way that other NFL franchises have. Don't know what's going to happen, when they have to change ownership. I don't know if the team will sell, whatever. But yeah, it's just Mike Brown, who was Paul Brown's son, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Which is kind of cool that it has like ties to the origins of the NFL, basically.
Yeah.
But they're still running it like it's Paul Brown. So it's weird. Yeah.
Do you know what's weird? I would have thought their stadium, because it looks like such a dump, was one of the older ones in the league. It opened in 2000.
Yeah, that adds up.
I would have guessed 1990. I would have guessed
So
10 years earlier.
I don't love that teams that have built stadiums in the last 25 to 30 years are building new ones.
But that one could probably use a little.
But I do have to say that when you pull up to Raymond James Stadium or Nissan Stadium, you're like, oh, they do look old. They do
what's wrong with
look
Nissan?
outdated.
Because it's identical to Gillette.
It's
Architecturally.
identical, but
They didn't build up
kind of
around it.
crappier. It's just like if you could see all of the like the posts and beams and
Yeah.
insides of Gillette Stadium when you walked up to it,
Yeah.
that would be like Nissan Stadium. And they
Yeah.
also don't have the new entrance that Gillette has. They don't have like the lighthouse or whatever. They have like a fake Broadway. It looks old. It looks like a, I don't know, older, smaller college football stadium.
It's interesting because there was a boom of NFL stadiums in the late 90s, early 2000s. Yes. And some, like I haven't been there. You have Acrisure Stadium, formerly Heinz Stadium. Seems pretty good. Seems like
that one's still good. Yeah.
Pittsburgh knows how to build stadiums.
Yep.
Now, like Denver, they're rebuilding that one. Apparently,
They are.
that one's a big dog, and they're
Mm-hmm.
just going to get rid of that. Ford Field, pretty modern for a
Yeah,
2002 job.
that one's good.
And then I think one of the best stadiums in the league. I hate to say it, Lumen Field out in Seattle.
Yeah.
They don't seem like they need a new one. But
No.
then there's, as I mentioned,
Nissan's building a new one. Tampa could use one, but I don't think they're building one anytime soon.
Cleveland, not a nice stadium.
I think they're building a new one too, right?
Maybe, who knows?
I haven't been to M&T Bank. I haven't been to Baltimore or Philly in too many years. I'm going to Baltimore obviously this year. So I'm curious to see how that holds up because that was right around the same area as Gillette, right?
Yeah, Baltimore was 98, so a little bit early, but it seems pretty generic. Like nothing wrong with it, but
Right.
nothing
And
too great.
then Eagles, Lincoln Financial, I think also was around that era, but it also doesn't seem
That was
particularly bad.
03, which again, it seems pretty generic. But what's funny is like the modern era stadium, they're all like cathedrals, like Allegiant Stadium
Right.
and SoFi Stadium, and Atlanta was one of the best stadiums. Minnesota, one of the best stadiums I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And then like the start, or I guess right in the middle of that, you had like Lucas Oil, which is nice. You had the Cowboys, which is nice, and then you have MetLife, which just stinks.
Oh, I hate MetLife.
It's just funny, like every stadium now is great. Even like Arizona is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you just have MetLife, which is like, hey, we got a lot of seats in here.
I go back to how bizarre it is that New York has like the
Big
biggest
Apple.
city in the world
City
has
that never
these two
sleeps.
crap NFL franchises that no one is ever excited about. It's just wild. I don't know.
You know what
Did
they
you
say
see?
about that?
We'll keep talking about the Patriots in a second. Did you see Cam Scatabo on WWE last night?
No, I didn't. I saw him on Twitter, like popping his shoulder joint out of place.
He like his ankle was facing the wrong direction mere weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
He was getting like pushed around by wrestlers on
That's
WWE. Unbelievable.
That's not good.
This is also a good time. Hold on to remind you that this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. I've got a lineup. So I would also suggest that you maybe do an entry later in the week because there's not a ton of options right now.
Okay.
But I'm feeling pretty good about this one.
Pretty early in the week.
I know it's a lot. Drake Maye more than 251.5 passing yards.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to cut you off, Doug. And anything you say involving Patriots offense, we got to go more.
Yeah.
So
I think this is going to be Drake Maye's first career 300-yard performance.
He should have had it last week. He had a
should have.
couple drops, one excused, one not. That would have gotten him over the 300 mark.
So I'm also going Drake Maye more than 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of last week's performance. His numbers deserve to be better based on his play on the field.
Yeah. Did you
this
see?
Week? I think we see a correction there.
There was a tweet out there, EPA per play if you exclude drops. And I think someone was doing it to prove that Jordan Love is getting screwed by drops. And Drake Maye, I think, was 10.4 or something, or 11 maybe.
Yeah.
And Love was down to like 8 at second, which is pretty high. But Drake Maye's stats don't even reflect his play.
And then I'm also going Joe Flacco more than 227.5 passing yards.
Ooh. He does throw it a lot. He does sling it.
And
we
the
think they'll be
Bengals are going to be
behind.
playing from behind in this game. Chase Brown has kind of stunk this season.
Yeah.
I think this is a game, obviously not having Jamar Chase hurts, but you've got T. Higgins.
So what's the number?
227.5.
So he's done that once since joining the Bengals. And it was actually, no, sorry. That was his Browns numbers. I had it upside down. 2 what?
227.5.
So he's done that twice out of 4 starts. So you got a decent chance. He threw for 470 against the Bears and lost.
Skews the numbers a bit. But all right, so that's my lineup. Like I said, we'll see if I do one later in the week, I'll tweet out about it. But I'm feeling pretty good about that one right now. And you can download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Let's talk about how. So we just talked about it a little bit.
I got to interrupt you.
Oh, sorry.
Your Prize Picks did not win last week, so I just have to tell you something about that.
Oh yeah.
Damage is done, my friend.
What a great response. No, it isn't. It isn't. It isn't done. It's on this memory card. We can just delete it.
Right.
Jackwagon. Anyways,
Do you know who? Do you know what the guy's name? Like, what was his
no
job with
clue.
the Bengals?
I don't know. I just
Mm.
know that if there's someone tweeted a picture, it might have been. Doesn't someone named I forget his first name, Ben Baby, covers the Bengals, right? I think he
Yes.
tweeted a picture of the like seating chart of the press box, and literally like there was a whole row of Bengals PR staff right behind the guy filming. So like he clearly wasn't
No, trying to do anything
trying to
nefarious.
hide.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm guessing it was someone from that PR staff, but I do not know whom it was.
Really incredible stuff. But I expect a big game out of Drake Maye. The Bengals pass defense has been really bad this season. The run defense has been really bad too. So whether it's Trevion Henderson or Ramondre Stevenson, Mike Vrabel said that Kayshon Boutte and Ramondre Stevenson expect to be out on the practice field on Wednesday. They were limited last week. I think with this long stretch, the mini bye,
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but seems more likely that the one or both of those guys could play this week.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I would think we said that last week. Like, it's a short week. Forget about it. Just rest it, and then you'll be good to go next week. Assuming it's not a horrible Christian Gonzalez hamstring injury, you'll be fine. Do you want to play a game?
Sure.
So you name a defensive stat, and I say where the Bengals rank in it.
Passing yards allowed.
Per game or per play?
Per game.
31st.
Per play.
31st.
Passing touchdowns allowed.
I had that 1 second. Passing touchdowns allowed. 32nd. How many teams are in the NFL?
32.
Oh, not good.
Yards per attempt, per rushing attempt.
30th.
Rushing touchdowns.
Got you right here. Rushing touchdowns. 26th.
Oh, wow.
Not bad. I guess you can't lead the league in both because like teams are generally, they can't just keep scoring, can they?
That's amazing. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't know how that happens.
They're just like, I don't know. I know it's hard to build a full team, but when you've got Joe Burrow and you've got Jamar Chase and you've got T. Higgins,
they just don't know
how
how
to make your defense at least below average, not worst in the NFL.
It's one of those things. You're a new golf guy. Golf guys know this. It's a famous golf guy saying is like, you never quite have your whole game working at once. If you're good off the tee one day, your irons suck. Or if you're getting to the green, you're putting like crap, or you're chipping like crap. Like it's almost never into, and that's the Bengals. It's like they got Burrow and he was great, but they had no O-line. Then they get the O-line and the defense sucks. And it's like they're constantly just in this cycle of suck. Only though, fourth worst passer rating against this year. The Commanders, Dolphins, and Cowboys allow better passer ratings. So shout out to that.
Well, I do expect a big game from Drake Maye. First 300-yard performance is what I'm looking for. Multiple passing touchdowns. They
do pick it off. They'll pick you off. The Bengals will pick you off. They got 8 picks.
Wow, not bad. Not bad.
So you got to be wary of that.
I know we usually save this for the end, but I'm afraid we're not going to have enough time. Somehow I went to the 1994 Patriots on Pro Football Reference today.
As one does.
That might be the most amazing coaching performance to get that team to 10-6.
Okay.
Or so at least one of them in team history. There is probably some Bill Belichick ones in there as well. So they averaged 2.9 yards per carry that season.
Yeah.
Drew Bledsoe had more interceptions than touchdowns.
27 touchdowns. That's a lot. I mean, 27 interceptions. That's a lot.
And they hadn't added Curtis Martin, Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, Ted Johnson, Teddy Bruschi, obviously like Mike Vrabel. It was a bunch of guys who had played on the crappy Patriots teams of the early 90s. Like there's almost no name recognition. I think it's Michael Timpson led the team.
That's the thing. Like the target leader is Ben Coates, which makes sense. Ben Coates was an absolute monster. And then right behind him is Michael Timpson.
Yeah. And so I moved here in 1997. I started following the Patriots more in 95, 96 because of Curtis Martin and Lawyer Malloy. So I have really no recollection of the 94 Patriots, but I mean, it is not a strong name recognition team on there. Chris Slade was around, Willie McGinnis.
Yeah, that was a 7-game win streak to end the season.
Unreal.
Heck of a job. Heck of a
Yeah.
job, Bill Parcells.
And Drew Bledsoe, obviously, quarterbacks threw more interceptions at that time, but still having more picks and touchdowns was pretty uncommon.
He led the league
And
in completions, attempts, yards, interceptions, and first downs.
yeah,
That's a lot of throwing the ball.
that was the year that he attempted, I think, 60 passing attempts in one game, something like that. So that's how I found
94.
it. It was a game against
Oh,
the Vikings.
were you looking at because of Brissett?
Yeah, because Brissett broke his record. Bledsoe
Yeah.
previously had the record for 45 completions in a
40,
game.
45 for 70. What was Brissett? 45 for 54 or something? Like
He was
crazy?
47 of 57, I think, something like
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And this was an
70
overtime game.
passing attempts in one game is what? I mean, for that team, though, when
Yeah.
Marion Butts is averaging 2.9 yards per carry, your entire team is averaging 2.9 yards per carry.
This is
You
incredible.
can't run the ball. You just have to pass the ball every single snap.
Drew Bledsoe threw 70 passes in that game against Minnesota and handed the ball off 10 times. That's hilarious. That's flag football. That is hysterical.
After the Patriots went 10-6, though, averaging 2.9 yards per carry, how did rushing even survive after that? How did running the
Yeah.
ball survive football?
I know. I don't know. That was at the beginning of my time. Like when they
Right.
got Bledsoe, I was 7.
Yeah.
So I was starting to get in football. I wasn't really breaking down the box score. I wish I was, though. I wish I was following that one. I do remember, I think one of my earliest memories, and any Patriots fans older than me might remember this. They played the Dolphins in like week 17 with really nothing to play for and might have knocked them out of the playoffs or something to that effect. That was the first game where I remember being like, oh, the Patriots are kind of doing something, but I don't remember when that was.
That's fair.
It'll take me a while to figure that out. But anyways, I want to see 70 passes out of Drake Maye this week. I think that's what we're getting at.
Might see 70 passes out of Joe Flacco.
Doug, it was
I don't
the year
think Chase Brown's doing very well this year.
That's a fair point. It was the year before, 93. They beat the Dolphins in overtime to finish the season 5-11, which made the Dolphins 9-7. And did they miss the playoffs? Yes.
Wow.
So 93,
Huge.
late in the season. That was one of my first football memories.
Bill Parcells did win Coach of the Year in 94, by the way. Well deserved. Well deserved.
I had a couple of leftover thoughts from the NFL weekend, if you want to hit those.
Yeah.
So a lot of people in New England, it seems, might be celebrating the death of the Chiefs dynasty. I don't know about you, but like until they are eliminated, I just never will believe that. And I think back to and like I'm watching them and they do suck. Like they have nothing going for them, but the 2018 Patriots to me are like the warning sign for that. Where when you have
100%.
the coach and the quarterback and you're still in striking distance of doing something, I still think like I remember I found this recently. It was after the Patriots lost in Pittsburgh in 2018. Remember that? They were in that bad stretch. They lost in Pittsburgh. They lost in Miami, right? Was that the Miami Miracle game?
I think so, yeah.
Do I have the right year on that? Yes, they lost to Miami. They lost in Pittsburgh. So they lost back-to-back weeks, and they were 9-5, and they had lost at Tennessee that year. They got smoked. And I remember I found a headline recently from Michael Hurley from CBS Boston, some moron, and it was Tom Brady and Bill Belichick's Patriots are just another team. And that was what they looked like. And then something switched, and they were like, let's do this instead, which was run the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
They won their last 2 games. They rode it to a Super Bowl. So to me, it's like, I'm going to wait, even though the Chiefs are out of the playoff picture right now. I'm going to wait on that one.
No, because I'm looking at the AFC standings. If there's a year for the Chiefs to still be able to emerge out of the AFC and make it to the Super Bowl, it would be this year. Like, yeah, I know they just lost to the Broncos, but in a playoff game, I think the Chiefs are still going to be favored over the Broncos. They'd be favored over the Patriots, over the Colts, over the Steelers, Bills. I don't know.
Soft
They'd be favored
schedule
over the Chargers, over the Jaguars. Like the AFC is wide open for a reason. And a 5-5 Chiefs team is right in the middle of all of that.
And you look at their schedule, there's 5 or 6 wins to be had there. You've got the Cowboys, the Texans, the Chargers, the Titans, the Broncos. Like you assume that'll be a split. That was a pretty even matchup. And then you get the Raiders to finish the season. It's like they're going to win probably 10 games.
Yeah.
And if that could be enough. You saw the Chargers look like absolute duty this weekend. So
listen, this is a take. I'm glad that this is in the 40-minute mark. Yeah. Usually this would be in like the 55-minute mark.
Yeah.
Okay. Justin Herbert is obviously a very talented quarterback. He's obviously a very good quarterback. He is a player that you would want to build around.
Get to the take, Doug. We want the take.
He's also at this point of his career an inconsequential player because the Chargers they just never get above the fold. They never get into a place of being relevant. So until he can lift the team up to a place of relevancy, to a place of being consequential, he's a quarterback who, like, yes, he can rank in the top 5, top 10, whatever it is of every single quarterback list, but it doesn't really matter until he actually lifts up the team around him. And it just feels like it's always like, oh, this could be the Chargers' year. And then it's never the Chargers' year.
Yeah. And he had the excuse before of having a bozo head coach for the majority of his career.
Right.
I think he's got a pretty good head coach now.
Yeah. And they went 11-6 and lost in the wild card last year. They're 7-4 right now. But before this, he was, when did he get drafted?
2020. Yeah.
7
right
9,
into the
9
action.
8, 10-7, 5-12, 11-6, 7-4. Like, it's, I wouldn't call Phillip Rivers an inconsequential quarterback, but it is a repeat of those records that the Chargers had for a number of years. And they had better seasons.
Yeah. 0-2 in the playoffs with a 52% completion rate, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, all of which were thrown in last year's playoffs. So, yeah, it's got a long way to go, and he is 27, so he's getting to prime era. So you're right. It's sort of
he's been in the league for a while at this point. It's amazing that he's only 27, but
not to make it a poop episode, but pooper get off the pot, Justin Herbert. I would love to weigh in on how he played this weekend, but I was a red zone viewer because there was quite a bit of football. And I literally never saw the Chargers have the football in that Jaguars game. It was always the Jaguars with the ball when they went to that game.
The funniest one on Red Zone this week was, what was it? Titans-Texans.
Yeah, I was like,
I might have seen 20 seconds of that game.
Yeah, that was clearly the. I don't want to say anything rude. That was clearly the one they didn't want to show very often. How about that?
Yeah,
I had another thought Sunday that pissed me off.
Sure.
Did you watch the Dolphins game in Spain?
I watched a decent amount of it.
So they have the ball, right? And this is just like, I thought Mike McDaniel was smart, right? That was the whole thing. Like, look at this little nerd, right? So theoretically, he'd be a good coach, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Etienne ran the ball with, I'm trying to get the exact numbers, with 224. They handed, no, sorry. It was 229. Nope. All right, I got it now. 2.5 minutes left. He gets the ball. He runs it 18 yards down to the 6-yard line with 2.5 minutes left. And I believe Washington had 1 timeout left. He goes out of bounds. Not smart.
No.
He goes in bounds there. They call their last timeout. They bring it to the 2-minute warning. You run it down. You got about 30 seconds. You kick the field goal. You win the game. Instead, he goes out of bounds. The Commanders don't have to call timeout. They run it, timeout. Smart, right? Then they're on the 5. And Etienne tries to score with 2:24 left. Tries to score the touchdown, which would in turn give the ball back to the other team, right?
Yes.
Doesn't score. Gets tackled at the 1. Gets bailed out by barely getting. Then the 2-minute warning. Then they run it. Don't gain the yard to gain, and get injured, which causes a timeout. And then on 4th down, they don't kick the field goal to go up by 3 because they're afraid of giving the ball back to the Commanders with a chance to tie or win the game. And it's like, you've got to be the dumbest idiot I've ever seen. That was the dumbest coaching.
Got to do something, yeah.
And like the only reason the Dolphins won is because Dan Quinn is as much of an imbecile as what we saw from Mike McDaniel. And it's just like, I get that we're trying to be entertained here, but it's hard when you're just such a dummy. That was so dumb.
It was dumb. I agree. We're going to get out of here. Thank you for listening. I think our plan is for our next podcast to be after the Bengals game. I'm not flying out that night, flying out first thing next morning. So we should be able to do a night Sunday pod for the first time in what feels like a long time, but that'll be nice to do. Goodbye.